How we doing there, boys and girls? Matthews here and welcome back to another video. So we got a little bit of an update from Blizzard yesterday. This wasn't specifically anything that we didn't exactly know previously, but it's confirmed a few things for us. Now, through our testing on the PTR, one thing that we never really truly understand is just how the time gating is going to work. Because for the most part, on the PTR, you can create your character and you can just go. It's not until it really hits live servers or Blizzard sort of makes something official that we know exactly how long it's going to be before X, Y, and Z happens. You'll see in the background I'm currently on the PTR and I've been testing out the flying a little bit, just seeing how it interacts when we get it and all this sort of good stuff, and it's quite interesting. It feels really weird flying around these zones, I'm not going to lie, but for the purpose of goal making and for doing your world quests and completing those callings really quickly, it's going to be an absolute godsend. Now, of course, we can't fly in the moor. No flying in the moor, we're aware of that being a thing, but at least we can use our ground mount, so it's one step forward, right? But what I wanted to do real quickly today is just take a look at this little post that Blizzard put out. Prepare for liftoff, get ready for flying in Chains of Dominations. Not because it really shows us anything new, but it just sort of solidifies a few things that have been at the back of my mind, and it presents an opportunity to suggest a few things for you guys to get ready for and to be aware of when flying comes, especially from a goal making point of view. So let's take a little bit of a looky. So first and foremost, earn your wings and a special Covenant themed mount in the next major content update. You'll instead earn flying within Shadowlands early on within the new chapters of the campaign. So there's going to be no Pathfinder achievement this time. It's going to be very simple, very straightforward. Just, play the game, do the campaign, and eventually you'll unlock it. Upon completing a quest contained within the Last Sigil storyline, you'll be rewarded with Memories of the Sunless Skies. This consumable allows all characters on your account, that's really crucial to know, all characters on your account, to purchase the riding skill needed to fly within the 4 main Shadowlands zones. This is really cool, right? This means that once you've unlocked it once on one character, even your alts that you've not leveled through Shadowlands yet, will be able to, presumably, by the time you've completed the more intro quest and got your feet on Shadowlands content, you'll be able to hop on your flying mount and zip about. This is going to have huge implications for the speed of leveling, that is absolutely true. I've been kind of holding back on leveling a lot of my alts because I know full well that whereas it might take 8 to 10 hours to level from 50 through till 60 now, come patch 9.1 when we get the ability to fly, you could probably shave a couple of hours off that, probably pretty easily, especially if you're doing Threads of Fate. Choosing the Threads of Fate mode may actually become the most optimal way to level, because of course you're going to be able to hop from world quest to world quest, bonus objective to bonus objective really quickly, really easily, not have to worry about accidentally aggroing any mobs on the way. Your travel time is going to be cut in half and leveling will be much speedier. But there are a few crucial things to know with this. So let's take a look at exactly what's going to be required for you to get this unlocked in patch 9.1. Reach Renown level 40. If you haven't reached Renown level 40 at this point in the game, you need to just make sure, at least on your main character, or at least the character you plan to play coming patch 9.1, you want to make sure they're a level 40. I've been setting myself an arbitrary milestone of reaching level 40 on my alts even. That's just so I've unlocked everything within the covenants that they are part of for season 1, just to kind of keep on curve, I guess. But for your main character, the absolute minimum is going to be Renown level 40. You can't start the next parts of the chapter until you've completed the original chapter, and for the most part it's very difficult to reach Renown 40 without having done the campaign. So reach Renown 40, get your campaign done and dusted, and you'll be ready to rock and roll, and you'll be able to get flying as quickly as possible. So let's take a look. If you are, one thing, this is actually a really important thing to note, if you are struggling to reach Renown level 40 prior to the release of Chains of Domination, if you're only just coming back to the game, maybe you played Shadowlands for a month or two, didn't quite hit Renown 40, not entirely sure exactly how the system works in terms of catch-up, once 9.1 launches, they are actually going to bump up the speed in which you gain those first 40 renown. They're basically just tuning the knobs on the things that give you renown. That's going to be, you know, your callings, your boss kills within dungeons, boss kills within raids. These are all activities that can present you with renown. They're just going to increase the value or the frequency in which those activities will give you renown up until level 40 as a nice little bit of catch up. Before you get your wings, you must progress through the newest chapters of the Covenant campaign, specifically early into the last sigil, which is chapter 12 of the Covenant campaign. Currently in patch 9.0 we have nine chapters, so this is actually going to be the third chapter. Now, of course, we've known that this was the third chapter for a little while on the PTR, but like I said at the beginning of the video, we didn't really know exactly how the time gating is going to work, but they now let us know that. So this chapter unlocks when you reach Renown 44, accessible within the second week of Chains of Domination. There we go. That's a really good indication to us the pacing that they're going to take Season 2 or patch 9.1. It's likely that we'll get the first 3 Renown points available to us within the first week, which will take you from 40 to 43, and of course 44 will be unlocked very early on in week 2, and of course then you'll be able to get hold of your flying. As it says, there are currently 9 chapters to complete. You can check your current progress by opening your quest log. If you're unable to complete all of the current chapters, you'll be able to play through the newest storylines of the Chains of Domination, so long as you've finished your Covenant's introductory quests and unlocked the Rune Carver. You still want to complete any of the skipped chapters you can, as they are a reliable source of renown, which will unlock the ability to fly and other rewards. So whilst the Covenant campaign, fully completing the campaign is not 100% required, you at least need to, especially if it's an alt, more importantly if you're switching class, for example, more importantly you need to have at least done the first couple of chapters of Season 1 content. You don't need to have done all 9 of them, but actually speaking, the Covenant campaign is one of the most reliable ways to actually, you know, gear up in Season 1. It's probably not going to stay that way in Season 2, but currently it's a really good way to get that first starting gear. By the time you finish your campaign, which is only a couple of hours of questing, I appreciate it might get a bit tedious if you've done it 4 or 5 times already, but the Covenant campaign can actually be a really good way. By the time you pop out the end of the Covenant campaign, you're probably item level 180, ready to step foot into your Mythic Plus or your raiding or whatever your you can pick your poison. So let's take a little bit of a further look. Your heroic deeds on behalf of your Covenant will also reward you with a mount fit for the most decorated Covenant champions upon reaching 45. So the quest to get flying you get when you hit Renown 44, and then at 45 you get your nice new shiny mount. Kyrian get to glide on the back of an Elysian Aquilon. Night Fae ride upon the majestic wolf serpents. Necrolords charge into battle on corpse flies, and the Venthyr will take to the skies on the newly awakened Stoneborn. The Venthyr one looks really cool, just saying. But there we go. So now we know exactly when flying is going to come, and I want to sort of use a couple of minutes towards the end of this video just to sort of state from a goal making perspective how this is going to affect us. Now that we know that the very first week of patch 9.1 there is going to be no flying, but what we do know in the very first week of patch 9.1 is that every man and their dog is going to want to live on Korthia. Unlocking the new reputations on Korthia and starting chipping away at those is going to be absolutely crucial from a goal maker's perspective. So we may see some interesting things happen with material prices. There are no new materials in patch 9.1. This is ultimately going to mean that the current materials are super cheap right now. We are talking ridiculously cheap right now, to the point on many servers where people are looking to buy the materials to do vendor shuffles, which is about as cheap as those materials in theory should ever really go. Come patch 9.1, the very first week, we're likely to see a spike in price of materials. For the very first week. Very first week, because everybody all of a sudden will stop their farming. There'll be a bunch of people out there that will have, you know, stockpiled a bunch of materials, and people will be preparing for what's coming. They'll be crafting their potions, their flasks, their food, their enchants, their gems. They'll be doing a lot of crafting in the first week, whilst there won't necessarily be as many people out farming, simply for the fact that anybody playing the game at that point, in theory, is going to be playing the new content. For the most part, Korthia. Nobody is going to be out there doing farming in the old world, at least not for anywhere near as long as they have been maybe currently. So the supply of materials in the first week of the patch 9.1 launch is going to be relatively scarce. But soon as we unlock flying, magical things are going to happen. I would take advantage, if you're a goblin, of that scarcity of materials in the first week of patch 9.1. If you've bought any materials cheap now, maybe try selling them off in the first week to people looking to prepare their crafting setups for when the raid comes out and whatever, because week 2 is going to tank the prices of materials very, very heavily. Soon as people get the ability to fly, everybody is going to go back out to the old zones and test out, well, just how much gold can I make by flying and gathering my herbs and flying and gathering my ore, and how quickly is it now possible for me to jump between one mob pack to another mob pack for the purposes of skinning. Materials are going to then become even more abundant in week 2. We're going to have to see exactly what this does with prices, and the size of your server may have some effect on that, but for the most part, just be aware of it. Being aware of these things happening going forward is the best way to be able to utilize them, be able to react to any changes that you see coming. But there we go, boys and girls. I'll leave it there for today. Now that Blizzard have officially confirmed it to us, patch 9.1, it will be the second week of patch 9.1 to where we will get access to flying. Start maybe stockpiling some materials. Take a little look at what's valuable on your server, what's going cheap right now, and what you think that people may be squirreling away in preparation. I'm going to put some videos together once we get an actual release date for 9.1 of exactly a few items you should keep your eyes on. So stay tuned for those. Make sure you've hit that subscribe button, notification bell on, all of that good stuff. Any goal making discussion usually happens in our Discord. I'll leave a link to the Discord down below. There's now hundreds of people online every single day talking through all their goal making strategies and their planning for the new patches and all that sort of good stuff. So it's a great place to, like I said previously, keep ahead of the game. Keep the more ahead of the game you can stay, the better you will do long term. But I'll leave it there for today, boys and girls. Enjoy the rest of your day. Happy goal making, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.